All right, we are recording. Hello, everyone. This is Kevin Daisy, the host today of the Live Managing Partners podcast. I also am the founder of Array Digital, where we exist to help law firms get found in search, get more leads, get more traffic, and grow their pipelines. So if you need that kind of help, please reach out to me or one of my associates. So today on the Managing Partners podcast, I have Phillip. And Phillips coming out of Atlanta, but he runs a practice basically based out of Chicago, where most of his clients are. But Phillip, thanks so much for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's great to be here.
Yes, sir. Well, we had a little bit of technical issues, little audio issues, but we have cell phones and we were able to figure this out. So sorry about that, but we got you here. And so we got to talk a little bit before the podcast here. So I got to know a little bit more about you, but I'm excited to have the audience know more about your journey to get to where you are today and kind of how that panned out for you. And then really getting into some of the specialties and things that you do for your clients. Okay. So I guess let's get started. I mean, you didn't start out as an attorney, and even though it's, I guess, part of your family, but yeah, tell us a little bit of the story about how you got into this work and became an attorney.
All right. Well, I guess the niche I'm in, I'm a patent attorney and also general intellectual property, so trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets. We're a technology practice, so we, we're engineers and physicists and chemists, and there's only two of us, but we we spread the qualifications among us. So that's my brother and I. We're McKinney Phillips. So the way I got here in high school, I was always intrigued with physics and chemistry a little bit. Electronics, acoustics. NASA. Everything kind of cool in the engineering and physics world. And my father at the time was a patent attorney himself. He was a chemist who had gone to law school and had worked inside corporations pursuing their patents and their defense against patents and all that sort of stuff for his entire career. He's retired now. But at the time, I was seeking a little bit of direction, and my dad said, well, you always ask me great questions and you know a lot about engineering, so you'd be a great patent attorney. and I didn't have any other direction at that point, and that sounded pretty good. I like, analysis and questions and discussion and debate and engineering. So I went to Wesleyan University for physics and math and met my wife there. At that time, I transferred out to Caltech for a couple years and did electrical engineering. Then the two of us went over to Rice in Houston, Texas. I did a Master's of Science in quantum electronics there. And I was in the PhD program, and I decided, we wanted to get married, and I decided I need to get moving on my patent attorney plan. So I left with a master's, wrote and defended my thesis, did my research, and ended up at Cornell Law School. And in '98, I popped out of there, didn't know too much more than what I'd learned at my various institutions, but I was ready to go. So I had worked a couple summers at a Chicago law firm, and I started there full time in '98. Was a partner there a few years after that, and stayed at that firm until 2011. Wow. And in 2011, or just shortly before 2011, some former alumni of that firm and from another firm as well started their own practice, Miller, Mathias, and Hull. So that was Tom Miller, Brent Mathias, and Michael Hall, who's passed away now. So I joined up with them, and it was a great experience. It was a small firm, 4 partners. Mike eventually left, and we brought in a new partner. But after a while, I still kind of wanted to do more of my own practice, more hardcore high-tech prosecution. So I left in 2019 to start McKinney Phillips. My brother works with me in that firm. So between us, he's a chemist, a chemical engineer. He does everything from plant patents to solvents to fire retardants. Right now, he's doing a lot of work in concrete. I handle the mechanical engineering in the firm as well as the electronics, electrical, computer engineering, telecommunications, data processing and analysis, and pretty much, if you invent a cool new go-kart or a cool new vaccine or whatever, or a new cell phone app, we pretty much have the technology, know how to handle it. He's from UPenn, Cornell undergrad, UPenn grad school, and Vanderbilt Law. And so we try to cover the waterfront. We do have folks we work with in this country and other countries when the client needs something other than specifically what we can give. We also, because we're small and we don't have much overhead.
Yeah.
I'm talking to you from my office at home right now. So we have very, I wouldn't even say competitive rates. I mean, we're pretty much below everybody because there's no middleman. It's just the two of us. And we do all the work. We do all the drafting. We do, in terms of pre-litigation and, cease and desist letters and infringement letters and things like that. I handle those on my side. I've had a lot of litigation experience in the past and intellectual property, trade secret, trademark. So the only thing we really don't do is full bore litigation, but we will work with local counsel to get that done. So that's
Awesome.
kind of the path to where we are now.
And so this is the website here below, McKinneyPhillips.com. If you're just listening, McKinneyPhillips.com, but you can check a look at that site. So you've gone through some different transitions, and I think just asking you, like, how many patent attorneys? I know a few, and I've talked to quite a bit more, especially on this show. But how many happen to also have been an engineer first, or?
Well, a lot have some kind of scientific training. So you have to have a little bit. There's two kinds of patent attorneys. You could be a patent attorney who's registered with, obviously a state bar, but also the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Yep. To pursue patents and things like that. You don't have to be registered with them to pursue trademarks. But if you want to be a patent attorney, then you have to pass a test with them and have certain minimal technical qualifications.
Okay.
So for example, a mathematics degree, you would have to turn in some extra proof if that was your degree and you wanted to be a patent attorney. Computer scientists as well, although computer engineering, you can sit for the exam and get registered. I can't remember what the question was, Kevin, but anyway, that's.
I was just wondering how many patent attorneys out there really have a true engineering degree and background.
Predominantly it's people who were in engineering. Not too many people plan it out the way I did and Rob did. Usually it's people who got into engineering, were okay at it, but really weren't as good as they wanted to be or didn't enjoy it as much as they could have. And decided, well, I have this engineering degree. I don't want to do engineering. What can I do? So technology law, and in particular patent law, if they want to sit for the bar for that, is a good route. To be a good patent attorney, you still have to be a good scientist and a good engineer, because a lot of times the client, when you work with a client, you're really working with inventors, engineers, technically savvy people, and you have to be able to speak their language, understand what's interesting and different about what they're telling you, as opposed to just saying, wow, that's cool, that's neat how that works. You have to be able to determine what's been going on before, where the eureka is and what they have, and help them find more if you can. That's part of the job, is to sort of brainstorm with them and say, well, can you do it this way? Can you do it that way? How about this option? So in order to do that all properly, you really want to come from a pretty solid engineering background, a full background before you go into patent law, especially if you're prosecuting.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
If you're litigating, you don't need as much technical background, but you should probably work with somebody who does have that technical background.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I just wasn't sure about that, and I would assume they need to be, needed to have that background and understand, because you're coming across a lot of different products, inventions, whatever it may be. So you got to be wired. You got to be able to have the conversations with these folks.
Right,
Not
right.
look like you're a deer in headlights. Like what?
Yeah, right. And I think if you're going to be in a small firm, like by yourself, or in a small group in a larger general firm, you probably should be the kind of person who can, fix your own brakes and, tune up your engine and things like that. Just have a general understanding of engineering and mechanics, because, my background, a lot of what I've done is software, apps, telecommunications, but I've also done new braces. I've done lawnmower technology, rocket
Wow.
nozzles. So you have to be sort of a technical quick study, and then it's a fun job for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, me stuff. I'm a marketer. Started out as a web developer. We did software development for quite a long too, as well, application development. But at the same time, I'm very handy, mechanically inclined. Work on stuff, build stuff. I love doing all that stuff. Not to say I could be a patent attorney. That's not.
Well, if you had a degree with that kind of mindset, if you had a degree, you could go be a patent attorney.
All right, I'm getting off the show. I'm going to go. That's good. I'm not that smart. But so they're really cool. Cool. And you told me a cool story was about the golf course, and who was that referring to again? Yeah.
Well, so I mentioned that we've got, my father's a patent attorney, and now I am, and my brother is. My sister escaped, and she's a doctor. But there's three patent
family right there, doctors and lawyers.
But there's, it's neat that we've got three patent attorneys, and it all came from a chance meeting my dad had when he was in college. He was a caddy on a golf course in Galesburg, Illinois. He was going to Knox College there, and he caddied for this guy who seemed really, really well put together and articulate and sort of, in command. And my dad said, "Hey, I'm just in college. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm a chemistry major. What do you do?" And the guy said, "Oh, I'm a patent attorney. I work in-house for XYZ company. I'm their patent counsel." And right then, my dad said, "That sounds good. That's what I want to do. What do I do?" And the guy said, "Finish up and go to law school and go in-house." So his whole career, my dad was in-house, and he eventually was chief patent counsel at a large chemical company, and now he's retired. But it spawned a couple other patent attorneys. Me and my brother. None of my kids are going that way, so it ends here. But
yeah, so the guy was like, "Hey, you have the science part down. And it's going to add the other element."
So. Right, go to law school, and a lot of people go to law school without the technical background. Just maybe they're a history major or a philosophy major, an English major, and they don't know what to do with the degree, so they go to law school and get into they could be any kind of attorney. You could be an immigration attorney having once been an English major.
Yeah.
So law school teaches you kind of everything you need to know about your area of law, at least to get started.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Well, our next question, really. So this on your own, McKinney Phillips. I think you mentioned when you just kind of did that recently, like 2019, 2020.
2019, May or June of 2019. Sorry.
Yeah. Awesome. So I know, I'm sure you had plenty of connections, and you've a lot of people in the industry, but what's been really something that's worked well for you to get clients, and the clients you have now versus how you're getting new clients, and then how many cases do you guys actually taken on? What's your I guess your capacity at this point?
Yeah, well, when I was working at my prior firm, when I was a partner there, the clients I worked with were larger clients with high volume. And we had, associates and people to help with all that, and high volume was fine. We're sort of more of a bespoke firm now, I guess, if you want to use that lingo, in that we can't really handle high volume. So if a company wanted, 100 patent applications a year, then just to crank them out, then that's not us. But if they have 5 or 10 and it's their crown jewels, then we're the folks, because we can do that work especially well. The reason we don't have high bandwidth is we don't have associates. My brother and I are the drafters. Yeah. So if you get a letter from McKinney Phillips, it's from one of us. If there's a patent drafted by McKinney Phillips, it's drafted by one of us.
It's bespoke. I like that.
Yeah. So I kept the smaller clients that I had when I was at the prior firm, because they were certainly within our, the range of our our capabilities volume wise.
Gotcha.
Some of the mid-sized clients we still work with. The larger ones I didn't take with me just because by myself and even with my brother, we wouldn't be able to just dedicate ourselves to one client. And since then, actually, we've gotten a lot of sort of industrial clients. There's sort of an industrial community of mid-sized entities that sort of know each other and, refer each other. So,
Gotcha.
from knowing just a handful of people, a couple of folks from the very first firm I was at, and a couple of neat clients, it's all been word of mouth for the past few years now. Clients I had never heard of when I started this firm are now major clients here. So, that said, we didn't have a structured marketing strategy. We sort of planned on word of mouth and just,
Sure.
let our performance speak for us. But it would be good. It would be good if we did have sort of an organized approach to marketing. Maybe a little less exciting and, explosive at times. But, as we age here as a firm, we'll probably go more that direction.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's starting out, and you've been doing this for a long time, so you had some connections, but that's a natural way to go is, you got connections, people, you get referrals, you use the word of mouth as much as you can until you feel it's necessary to kind of take the next step. And that's natural, I think, and makes sense. You do good work, you're going to get more referrals.
Well, one aspect of it is just kind of an aside. I had a few clients that I was conflicted out of being able to represent at the old firm. And so leaving that firm and those clients, because no matter whose client it was at the old firm, it could be a conflict. Sort of leaving that environment, got rid of those conflicts. And, so now I work with those particular institutions. So being small has its benefits, but it's a little more sporadic when you're small.
Yeah. I've been there.
Yeah.
I run a different type of company, but very similar in this, was on my own for a while now. I've gone the route of building and have a larger team and things like that. But pros and cons, it depends what you're looking for.
Yeah, so. size of stability, but it's sort of the opposite of agility. So
there's a sweet spot in there, right? So well, okay, cool. Well, so speaking of going forward and what your plans are, I'm sure right now you guys are head down in the work and taking care of your clients. What is really some of the plans, let's say from the next year to the next up to 5 years? Like what is, have you kind of thought about that far ahead? What are you trying to accomplish?
Well, we would like to grow just a little. We want to stay small, but maybe having an associate or two or a technical advisor, they help with patents, or two would be good. On the marketing side, we don't really use our website for marketing, obviously, because I don't know if any of my clients have ever even looked at it. They just come from other clients and other friends and stuff. But but I'd like that to be better, just so if someone stumbled on it, it would represent us well. And if they want to call us, great. If they don't, at least they thought, hey, that's a good website. It'd be good if it was a little bit better. More to click on, more interesting. Right now, it's just, hey, here's the guys. Call us if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at that is kind of like when you're really word of mouth based, and you're not going to, advertising and all that stuff for a firm like you would not be as effective as sort of say like a personal injury firm where it's like immediate attention needed now. Whoever shows up possibly gets to work. So it's a little bit different approach. So for you, it's a brand and a website that reflects you, that shows who you are, the benefits of working with you, and that just increases. Hopefully, it would increase the amount of those referrals that actually convert to clients. If that's enough by itself, could be worth investing in. So beyond that, can they find you without you having a referral? So
right. Well, that's kind of what I was going to say is that we've started being a small firm. We've really started to cater to smaller clients. So small companies, so not the Microsofts of the world, but probably companies that you've heard of, but more for niche products. But we'd love to connect more with small inventors. And I looked into some of that sort of marketing, so with popular mechanics and things like that. But for a small firm, some of that's kind of cost prohibitive in terms of the yield you would expect to get.
Yeah, no, I mean, when we were doing software development and even web development, we used to not be niched in law. So everyone listening, and we haven't always been niched and working with law firms. We kind of got there over time and decided that was the industry for us to stay with. But prior, when I was just a web developer, designer locally, working with local companies, or doing software development and application development, I was on the board of our local technology council. I still am, actually. I'm the marketing chair of our local tech council. And so I get tons of people that come to me about ideas, software, marketing, website, mostly, people that have ideas for all kinds of stuff, tons of ideas. And most don't have any money at all. And, you can waste a lot of time talking with them and trying to help them. And then there's some programs that we, locally in groups that they can go to get help. And, and then every once in a while, there's someone that's got some money and deep pockets or some funding source. But
right.
There's a lot of folks out there with ideas that aren't able to actually take them to fruition because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of risk. So, what's the saying? Ideas are cheap or something like that. Right. But there's a lot of people out there with a lot of cool ideas. It's just, how many are going to take it to the next level and can afford to hire someone like yourself or someone like me? You got to wade through a lot of the noise, I guess.
I think the best candidates for that, for you really having the money to be able to dig in and do a good job, are folks. Sometimes somebody working as a software engineer and they come up with a new hedge trimmer in their spare time or something. So it's a little bit of a lark form. It might be a world changer, like the little girl who invented the bacon hanger and for the bacon microwave fixture. But generally, the best folks who really value their IP and want to get it done are folks for whom it's their business, but it's a small business. So a concrete manufacturer or something has a neat idea. It's in their business. It makes them more competitive. It makes them more money, and therefore they're serious about getting it done.
And protecting that. Yeah.
Right.
No, excellent. Yeah. So I think it'd be interesting to see what, and I'm just sitting here telling you that if you were to go to that angle, it'd be some thought and strategy put into coming up with how would you market to those and find those folks.
Right.
It's a little more challenging than, again, if you're a family law and you're, people are searching for a divorce attorney. I can tell you I do that all day. We can do that, no problem. But
I see those billboards all around the neighborhood.
The billboards, we do digital only, but I guess the point is it's a little bit harder to do to target that, and it's really what are they searching for? We're big on Google and search because if you're unknown and they have no referral, they're going to go search. And so whether or not they're doing their own research, and you happen to be the website resource that gives them those answers and has articles and information, that's one way to get them. Or what are they searching when they're actually ready to hire a patent attorney? We look at the data and say, all right, what searches are being performed? How many searches are happening in a monthly basis? And then that's your slice of the pie. That's
okay.
How do we get in front of them? Certain tactics you can use, and then you can kind of do the backwards math to figure out, hey, is that a return on investment if I invested this much money per month?
Okay. So you're looking at Google's data of, sort of search histories, and
we can forecast. We can forecast next month based on Google's, 15 years of or 20 years of data. They know exactly pretty much how many searches will happen next month. And then you go, okay, that's this many searches. What do we need to go to get in front of those searches? How much would that cost? If we got this many clicks, they go to the website. What's the conversion rate of the website roughly? That'll mean this many leads. How many convert to actual clients? Okay, that's this many clients per month. how much do I make on an average case, client, and then you figure out if it's a return on investment or not.
Right. What level you want to get involved at? Yeah.
So yeah, you just kind of work it backwards, and that's what I tell every potential client for us is, if that doesn't make sense, then you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Sounds pretty rational.
Well, it's got to be. Everything we do is business rational, like type thinking. We're not marketers, but before we do any marketing, we have to understand the firm, the marketing, the business itself.
Yeah.
So where me and my partner, we run our firm, we're about 20 people at this point, and but we're still very involved. We talk with our clients. We have business conversations. We wire our folks to have business conversations, because before you can start doing anything, just like you have to be able to understand what they're trying to do and what matters to them, what brings them money, where do they lose money, what types of clients they want, what industries, whatever it may be, and then go, okay, now we start to look at what we can do to get you more of that, and then come up with a plan. So, and that's how it all should be done, and there's a lot of creative shops out there. They're creative and smart, but they're not business savvy, and they don't have the right conversations and ask the right questions.
Yeah, it's got to be data driven if the numbers are going to add up right at the end of the month. So,
well, data and your goals driven. So, if I say, hey, I'm going to do all this, and you're like, Kevin, I don't want those types of clients, and I never asked. So I could drive you a ton of traffic of people you don't want to talk to. You know what I mean? So that's not going to help. So it's just, say for divorce, I just use that example. I have clients they do pro bono, and they like to do cases that work with clients that can't afford attorneys, which is not usual, but that's what they want to do. And then I have some that are like, hey, if they don't have an income of $200,000 a year, we don't want to talk to them. So it's very specific. And there's a big gap in the middle there, right? So
yeah.
Most are in the middle. They want anyone that's looking to do a divorce, we want to talk to them. So if you don't have to ask the right questions, and I assume your job, you're probably asking a lot of questions and having a lot of conversations.
Yeah.
And so that's how it should be done. And that's what we try to do here. So
that sounds good. I might give you a call.
We can talk afterwards. But so yeah, I appreciate you coming on today and sharing your story. I think it's really cool and unique. I love talking about that kind of stuff. Again, I'm part of the Technology Council, and we have a couple of attorneys that are part of that group too, that are really good friends of mine in your space, kind of. And so it's just all intriguing to me. I like cool things. I like taking things apart. I like building stuff. And I just think it's cool how you got into it. Your brother, your dad, just really cool stuff. So, but everyone, if you're tuning in, again, check out McKinney Phillips to kind of see more about Phillip here. And maybe you're another attorney that can help refer him business, or maybe he'd be a referral source for you. So I urge anyone on here, a guest or the audience, to reach out each other and connect.
Thanks,
Phillip,
Kevin.
is there another way people can connect with you if they wanted to, or is the website have all the information?
I always just have people. I give people my cell number, and they call me when they need me. And if anybody has it, I know it's somebody I gave it to. So, but if there's anyone out there who wants to reach me, do you have the number, Kevin, or I can give it?
I do have it because I called you before we got on here, but let me see if I can list it for you. 1 second. You can say it too if you like, I guess.
Yeah, I can just tell folks it's 847-738-1132. 847-738-1132. Probably a quarter of the people I talk to aren't really clients. They just have IP questions, intellectual property questions, and that's fine. I enjoy those conversations as well. If you're confused and I can help you, I'd be glad to. So,
I appreciate that, man. So please reach out to Phillip. Check out his website, or reach out through his cell phone. And for this episode, we're gonna have this up on our website soon, featuring Phillip here. It's gonna be at raylawcom/podcast. So look for that soon. It'll also be up on the audio. If you're listening right now, it's already there. And then we'll be pushing this out everywhere, just like we always do. So Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. So Philip will he'll have to dodge paparazzi here before he does it. So if anyone needs our help, arraylaw.com, kind of explain on how we work, but we're serious about what we do. We help law firms grow, and that's through any means with digital marketing, whether it's their website all the way to very targeted advertising. So if you need that kind of help, check us out. Ask me any questions. Like Philip too, open for any questions. If it's just questions and you're going to make your own website by yourself, I'll help you out. So just
all right. Well, we might want to go beyond that and try and see if we can find a way to reach out to those small inventors. So
I'd be interested to see how that would work out and what tactics we could come up with. So
yeah.
Well, Philip, if you want, stay on with me for just a second. We'll say bye to the audience, and we can chat a few more minutes. But everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming on to another episode of the Managing Partners Podcast. I think we're over 140 managing partners and going strong. So we appreciate everyone that's listening and tuning in. We appreciate you, and stay tuned for more. Philip?